So very good evening, friends, and welcome back to your own channel. And this is your own friend निवेश भरत. So आज का जो वीडियो मैं आपके लिए रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ, basically it's just to highlight the process how normally I make an entry on a special request from a friend Triple V, right from Chennai. So I normally share my setups which emerge, based on the market or environment on Twitter as well as on Telegram. So all the setups cannot be traded is a disclaimer, right? So there are certain setups and with a capital constraint as a limitation, nobody can, trade all the setups which emerge. But it's based on one's, own prioritization of the setups that you finally and eventually, enter into a trade. So today's video will highlight basically how I plan my entries and, how I choose a setup which emerges. So let's see basically. So see if at all I am sharing a setups on a daily basis or maybe on a whatever time frame, it doesn't look like that. Okay, it is like going to be the setups which all of them can be traded on a single day. So every setups has its own time to be triggered. So whenever we share, it's not like, say, for example, on March 8th, I shared these setups which were very good, or maybe emerging setups which can be triggered maybe tomorrow, maybe day after tomorrow, that is on 10th of February, March or 11th of March. At the time of sharing, it is not pretty much clear that, okay, whichever, setup will be emerging on which day. So once we are during the live markets, then only we will put these all as an on a watch list. And once your watch list trigger is getting confirmed, then based on that, you will be able to take any action. So this is how total process is basically. I filter it out on a EOD basis. I normally try to do the homework on a weekly basis as well to find out the major trends and the major, price action which has happened over the week. And on a daily basis, I try to filter out the stocks which have demonstrated a decent price action. So this is the way which I normally filter out the and share it out here. Now coming on to the execution part. So this is how I shared it on March 9th. And there was a first this setup which actually it's not to brag about it, but it came into my filters when nobody was talking about BSC at that point in time. So I've shared it on March 9th, 10th for the ranking. Let's see. So there are basically, so if at all you are seeing the March 9th one, you're seeing there are a lot many names right here, which are you are able to see right now. And if you see on March 9th, there are these many names. But let's go to the setups that how these setups emerge and basically how these, during the live market hours get triggered or maybe, based on your screeners or based on your, I don't use any screener for sure. I use manual, scanning. I normally go through a lot of charts on a day-to-day basis. So let's now dwell into this. So first, let's see what I share and what I normally trade. So let me show you. So these are the I normally don't trade on a regular basis. I normally am a positional or a swing trader. So these are the trades. Let me show you. So on 9th of March, I have taken a trade on for Dwarikesh, and around 10th, I took a trade for BSC. So this is my trade book. And 11th of March, I have taken a Mirza International. Okay. So these are the trades which I have taken. I've already closed Dwarikesh as well as BSC. Currently, Mirza is open trade for me. So now let me show you the rationale on the charts. Okay. So what is the rationale for my entry and what made me to go through this? So if at all, wait, let me take you through. Where is let's go to the charts. So let's go first on Dwarikesh, which is a first trade on March 8th. Okay. So see what it is demonstrating is, so if you see March 8th and March 7th, so continuously there were a lot of volumes here. which were highlighting that some sort of accumulation is happening here. Somebody is definitely trying to accumulate from the lower zone of the range. So it was within this range for a decent amount of time. So if you see here, this is a daily chart. So this is your March 8th candle. 7th candle, it was within this range and it opened with a small kind of a gap up, which made me, comfortable enough to take a position around this. And I took the position on after the confirmation of this breakout of this range on March 10th, right? So March 9th, sorry. So let's go into the shorter time frame, how I plan the entry. So this is the zone where I got confirmation that price has eventually broken that range, and I entered around 110 and I exited around 140. Why so? Because these markets are so much volatile. I don't want to be too aggressive in terms of holding the positions and then finally seeing them going down and you know later on repenting on that. So accordingly, a trader or an investor has to be very much sure about modifying his or her strategy and executional capabilities according to what is market offering as an environment. These are the turbulent times. I don't want to be pretty aggressive in terms of targets. If at all 4 to 5% was achieving within a day, that for me at least at this point in time is sufficient enough. So I don't want to take overnight risk also due to a lot of news flow as well as rising rates. So this is how it turned out to be for me. If at all I go to the BSC now, so BSC, if you see here, so BSC also was struck in a range, right? So this is the place where I actually shared my my inputs on Twitter regarding why so, because this is the first day where a lot of volumes action was seen along with the price action which was within this range, and it was looking convincing that it might be breaking this range in the coming few days. But now very next day on 10th, it opened up with a decent gap up and it managed a close above this range on the first hourly candle itself. So let me take you to the shorter time frame. So this is the candle which confirmed me that okay, and I put a stop loss hereby to the nearby to the trend line, and I entered around 24:30 approximately, and I exited around here only at 25:50 or something like. I took 4 to 5%. I was never sure because see, charts were telling me that if at all this breakout is going to happen, definitely I can get 4 to 5% immediately in a very short span of time. As and when it happens, I was not sure that it will be happening very next day, but it happened. It triggered, the watch list. It was into watch list. It got triggered. I monitored the price on a hourly basis, closing basis of this candle, and that gave me that confirmation that now it is good to be taken as a trade. And finally, after a 4 to 5% intraday move, I was pretty much happy about it. I never knew that this is gonna blast like this for sure. But yeah, eventually it was looking like it is going to go on upside. But till how much time on a day-to basis, this kind of blast, even while going through the chart, even I was not sure, to be honest. I will not brag or boast about it that I knew this and all that. But yeah, eventually it has turned out to be a very decent setup. But due to these volatile times, as I've been saying, we have to be, more focused towards our risk management rather than being too much greedy in this kind of environment. And now finally, let me take you through the open trade, that is Mirza. What is the rationale behind it? So for Mirza, definitely, even this in volatile times, it has shown a relative strength to a greater extent. So for this, I will take you to the higher time frame chart. And I have shared this, yesterday also. I will show you in that video. You can go to the rationale also. I'm not going to repeat the same for here. So on a higher time frame, it is just on the verge of a flag and pole pattern breakout. Normally, I am a chart pattern, guy. Most of my, setups will have one thing in common. Based on the multiple time frame analysis, they all will be aligned in the, higher and lower time frames. Second thing, it will be based on the most of the times. It's not always, but most of the times the chart patterns will be the underlying thesis for shortlisting this, because I believe the chart patterns reflect the human psychology. So patterns are over the period of time are the reflection of the footprints of smart money. And I believe if at all smart money is chasing something, it's better to sit on that boat and ride that trend or ride that journey with the smart money. And how you will recognize smart money is based on the pure volumes, along with price action and couple of confirmations, maybe three indicators or any. So see here, what is the rationale here is, see, lot of being accumulation is being witnessed with a decent size, volume activity from the past few months. And right now it is on the verge of the fresh, breakout of this pole and flag pattern on a higher time frame. This is a monthly chart. So, you should not be pretty much watching the price on a day-to-day basis. You have to be, very much ready to see a lot of whipsaws and noise within this uh, shorter time frames. So here I believe that there should be a decent upside potential in coming few weeks, or I'm basically targeting it for a positional uh, view. So I'm looking out for pretty decent risk reward in terms of outcome. Let's see how it pans out, but it's not a trade which needs to be eventually seen on a day-to-day basis. This is what my thesis underlying thesis is. So hope I made certain stuff of my process and executional, uh, strategies clear to most of you. And I think it will help you for sure to help you surely to understand what is my underlying thesis, or how I choose and how I execute trades, and what is my filtering criteria and all that. So this is a video, if you want to go through, is March 13th watch list candidates, which I have uploaded yesterday, and which has got a decent, certain long-term price action candidates also, where Mirza I have specifically highlighted yesterday itself. So this is all for now, and hope I think you got something new to learn about it. So keep liking and sharing and subscribing the channel, as well as keep motivating us for doing the best and bringing the best of the content in layman terms to you. Good night. Take care.